It's a beast. Loads of them. Hello and welcome back. So we are back from holidays. We went to Ullswater in the Lake District, Cumbria, and it was lovely. It was really, really nice. You can definitely tell that it is autumn. I've got my spooky mug. That's my autumn mug that I thrifted from, where did I get this from? I can't remember now. Halifax maybe? Yeah, I think it was in the Oxfam in Halifax. So yeah, we had a lovely week away. It was perfect kind of weather-wise. So the first 2 or 3 days, the weather was really nice. So sunny, bright, clear skies. So we did most of our kind of outdoor activities on those days. You'll have seen some footage of us doing a walk. So we did like a loop. We went to, I think it's called Dale Main Mansion. And you start in the car park and then you can go around the grounds and do a nice walk. It kind of goes up into the forest and through some fields, and yeah, that was lovely. Found some mushrooms, which you'll have seen in the footage. We found dead man's fingers, which is something that I've wanted to find for a while, just because they look really strange. They look like fingers coming up out of the ground in black. We found quite a few of those. And then we did another walk on another day, just a short one, but it was more because we wanted to do some foraging. So we went to Area Force, which is the waterfalls, and this is the perfect time for mushroom hunting. And we went in there, took my cotton tote bag just in case we found anything, and we found all sorts. It was amazing. We found a massive chanterelle. It was huge. It was as big as my hand. Dave was super happy with that. We found hen of the woods, which is the first time we've ever found that one, and that was growing at the bottom of a tree. and that's an edible, so we picked some of that. We found some birch boletes, we found some penny buns, we found some amethyst deceivers, some wax caps. We found absolutely all sorts. Probably what was left of a chicken of the woods, but it was kind of all dying back. So that evening, Dave cooked up a lovely pasta dish with all the mushrooms. So he chopped all those up and did a nice kind of creamy sauce and what have you. I absolutely love that. I love finding something and then being able to take it home, cook it and eat it on the same day. So that was awesome. And then the weather changed and unfortunately I got poorly as well. So I started with, still a little bit rough. Probably, we think it probably was COVID. Not that we've tested or anything, but it was kind of not mild enough to be a cold, but not severe enough to be flu. So it was kind of like somewhere in the middle. But we've almost recovered. We're both just a little bit snotty and a little bit rough and croaky. But apart from that, we're back on his feet. So that's why there was no video last week. So I have all my finds to show you from the Lake District. So some are from the first day. The first day we arrived, we couldn't check in until 3 o'clock. So we had a ride into Penrith, did the charity shops, found a cafe, dog-friendly cafe, had a bit of lunch. So I got most of my bits from Penrith, and then on one of the other days when it was a bit overcast and rainy, we went into Keswick, and that's a lovely little village, little market town, and there's a little cafe there called the Square Orange, and it is a tapas bar. So it's got a proper old-fashioned wooden bar with all the optics and things and a kind of a tiled floor, and it's lovely in there. The food is amazing. So that was our treat. We went in there for lunch, and the rest of my treasures were from there. So we went around the charity shops. I think there was about 5 in Keswick. Paid up a little bit for things because it's the Lake District, so things were a little bit more expensive than they would be back home, but found quite a lot of stuff. So I'll not show you everything because it'd take me forever. I must have got 30 plus items, but I'll pick out the bits that are my favourite bits, and then I'll do the usual. I'll pan round and show you everything. So there was a bit of a theme. Cloisonne turned out to be something I kept dropping on, so lots of enamelled jewellery, which I absolutely love. So these are the first pair that I found in a charity shop, and these are going to go to one side for the Witchy Fair. These are some beautiful cloisonne owls. So they've got black bodies, and then they've got kind of a floral pattern just on the inside of their bodies there. And they're quite large, so quite a statement pair of earrings. So they'll be going to one side for the Witchy Fair. I'm kind of starting to curate my stuff now, so I've pulled it all out and having a look at what I have, how I'm going to display it. Still making handmade stuff. In fact, I have a pair of my skull earrings in today, because what I like to do is when I do my own handmade jewellery is I always like to wear it. So I like to make sure that it's not too heavy on the earlobes, that the ear wires are comfortable, that they kind of move how you want them to, that they look how you want them to look. Before I make any more. So these I'm super chuffed with. The bottoms, the skulls, are made out of mother of pearl. So these have been carved, hand carved, so each one's slightly different. And then I've added a vintage crystal bead on the top, and these are on silver plated wire. And I'm really, really happy with those. They sit just kind of at the right height. So yeah, really chuffed. So not long to go now. It must only be about 3 weeks until the first fair. So the first one is the Witches' Market, and then the second one is in, I want to say December? Yeah, first one in November, second one in December. If you're interested, if you're local or you fancy travelling into Wakefield, all of the details are on my Facebook page, so do feel free to jump over there and follow me and have a look. The dates and times and everything are over there. So let's have a look at some other bits. These are some of the other enamelled pieces that I picked up. So I've got these ones, just some flowers. The black and the teal colour always makes me think of the 80s. So they're kind of, yeah, quite bold floral earrings. Then I've got these ones. So again, in a black with a little bit of peach and orange in the centre. And what else did I get? Oh, I got this. I thought this was beautiful. This, in fact, we went somewhere else. I completely forgot. So we went to another place, Cockermouth, and there was a few charity shops there and a really nice cafe. So I picked this one up. It's a beautiful kind of blue and lilac enamelled butterfly, and I love the shape because usually the wings kind of come out this way, whereas these go upwards, almost kind of angel-like. Absolutely stunning. I love that one, really nice. And then these are in similar colours. These were from the British Heart Foundation, and these are really bright and vibrant. So these are beautiful blue and lilac flowers, and these ones are studs. So I think I've said before that I'm trying to keep my eye out for earrings that are for pierced ears, because a lot of the time I pick up clip-on earrings and I forget about pierced ears. My favourite pair of clip-ons that I got are these ones, and I just love the glass. So these are really old. These are probably, I want to say, Art Deco period, and they've got that kind of moon glow glass inside in this beautiful lemon colour, and then they're set into some brass settings, and they've got almost like little claws holding them in place. These were only £1, and I just think these are beautiful. I love that moon glow effect. So they're probably the favourite pair of earrings that I got. Got quite a few pairs of clip-ons. I got some for pierced ears, and I also really like these ones. Look at those. Very bold. I've heard on the grapevine that the kind of 80s, 90s vibe is going to go on for a while. So particularly kind of the 80s big chunky earrings, clip-ons and pierced, they're going to be a big thing. So I love picking those up anyway. But I've been keeping my eye out and picking up extra things. They were £1. That's it for earrings. What else did I get that I really liked? This is quite unusual. I love it, and I haven't seen anything like this before. So this is leather work. Someone will have handmade this. They've hand shaped it, finished it, and added some little eyes to it. So I put it on my finger. There we go. How cute is that? So that is a leather snake ring in black. I push him all the way down. It's really comfortable as well because it's leather. When you bend your finger and things, it moves with you. And he's got 2 little silver studs for his eyes. I just thought that was really clever. And again, that's going to fit the witchy, gothic-y, spooky theme. So that one will be going to one side as well for the Witches' Fair. Managed to get some bracelets and bangles, which I was really chuffed about, because necklaces I always find. Necklaces are definitely not scarce at the moment. So this one is really nice. It's got an adjustable section there where you can pull that apart, and then you just pull these to pull that tight again. And these sections here are made from animal bone, but then they've also got kind of a band around them with blue and red inlay. And I thought they were really unusual, and then some have got like a silver inlay in as well. It's a little bit different, very boho. I picked this lovely chunky one up. This was from the British Heart Foundation as well. The prices weren't too bad. They had a little sale on in the one in Penrith, so that's a nice simple silver tone clamper bangle. It's got a nice tight spring on it as well. This is another clamper bangle that I got, but it isn't sprung. This one's on a hinge, and it's absolutely beautiful. I need to work out who's made it. It's more modern, or it looks more modern, but it has a beautiful butterfly design. Look at that. And the butterflies are all different colours, and then they've got like clear rhinestone detail in there as well. Absolutely stunning. So it's got a little pinch clasp there. In fact, let's pop it on. There we go. How beautiful is that? Really bright and cheerful, which I think at this time of year, there's nothing wrong with a few pops of colour. There's nothing worse, I think, than kind of when you get to winter time and everything's black and brown and grey and there's not much colour about. So this would really, and against black, this would really pop actually. This would really stand out. But it does have a little initial on the inside. It says Z, so I don't know if that's Sarah or somewhere like that maybe. And that was £2. I think the most expensive thing that I purchased was pair of earrings. I bought a pair of silver earrings. So these are stamped 925 on the back. And they also have some initials, which I haven't had a look at yet. So this was from Oak Tree Animal Charity. There they are. If I hold them up, you'll see the little stones in the bottom, which potentially are amethyst. They look a tad too uniform, so I'm not sure if there's any inclusions in there. So they could be glass, but I shall have a closer look with my jewellery loop. But I thought they were beautiful. And they were £5.95. Which, for silver earrings like that, I should be able to make a profit on. So probably sell those for between like 12 and 15. People really kind of underestimate and undervalue sterling silver jewellery. And I absolutely love it. And I've been keeping my eye out. In fact, I'm going to do a video on how to spot sterling silver online, because I know that as we get into the winter months, it gets harder to go out, particularly if, like myself, you have a chronic illness and you suffer in the winter. So you might have arthritis, you might have chronic pain, you might have fatigue, and it can be really difficult in the winter months to get out and about, plus bad weather as well. So I do a lot of my purchasing online, so I go on eBay, go on Vinted, and yeah, I kind of scour the internet for things. And there are things to look out for when it comes to sterling silver, so keep an eye out for that video and it'll give you some hints and tips on how to identify silver items that you can kind of snap up for a bargain. Just having a slurp of my coffee before it goes cold. I tend to make these things, have a slurp at the beginning, do my video, and then I completely forget and it's cold by the end of it. But as you can tell, my throat is a little bit croaky, so I keep having to have a sip. This I absolutely love, and I love the kind of bold, chunky design, but also that it's Egyptian, so I love anything kind of ancient Egypt. So it has this massive, chunky chain on. In fact, this reminds me of, if you are my generation, so I was born in the 80s. Back in the 90s, people would wear really wide leg kind of skater style jeans or 3/4 length jeans, and they would have chains clipped onto the side of their jeans. And that's what that reminds me of. Drop me a comment below if you remember people wearing those. And then this was from Oxfam in Keswick. So it's got the Sphinx in the middle and then some kind of hieroglyphics around the outside, but it's huge. So it's like the size of the palm of my hand. And to be fair, Oxfam's usually quite expensive, but that was only £3.99, which I didn't think was bad. So that'll be going over on the Etsy shop. It's lovely. I'm contemplating doing an Egyptian collection for my handmade jewellery. So because I absolutely love ancient Egypt. I love the shapes, I love the colours, I love the materials that they used to use. They used a lot of gemstones like lapis, malachite, and I would love to do a collection that's inspired by ancient Egypt. So that's something that I'm gonna have a play around with, maybe do some designs. I'd love to do some work in copper and brass, and some sterling silver as well. So yes, I shall keep you posted on some ideas that I have. And then what else do we have that I really, really like? This was probably the find of the holiday. And I have done an image search and I can't find one exactly the same. So I could see that this had a little signature on the back. I did have my jeweller's loop with me, but the lady at the till was kind of watching me really closely, and I don't know if she thought that, you know, if I put my hand in my bag I was going to be pinching it or something. So I didn't get my loop out. I kind of just pulled the card back a little bit and had a peek and thought, well, if it's got a signature on, it's going to be worth picking up. It was £4.99. So not the most expensive thing that I bought, but I absolutely love it. Definitely worth the £4.99. There we go. So it's a very Art Deco style bow brooch, and it has a beautiful hatched effect on the top. Really, really nice. And then on the back there, right in the centre, you can just see it has a little stamp and it says money. So I was really chuffed to find that. And I have done an image search, but I can't find one exactly the same because I was looking up to try and price it and I couldn't find anything. Monet's done lots of bow-shaped brooches, so kind of like ribbon-shaped brooches with rhinestones, but I couldn't find that specific design. I found a similar shape, a bit smaller, that was enamelled in black and cream, but I couldn't find that one. So super, super happy with that find. And then a couple of unusual bits. You know that I do like to upcycle, recycle, make things out of unusual items. So I love a vintage buckle. So that one was 10p. That'll be an Art Deco one. Lovely blue. And then I picked these up for 10p as well. God, you can't get up for 10p anymore, can you? That's my kind of, my price point, 10p. I love anything that's a bargain. So these look like little wooden barrels almost, and they're buttons. So this is a little bunch of vintage buttons, but I thought they were super sweet. And I'll either make really unusual earrings or I'll use them as charms on bracelets and necklaces. So when I do assemblage, which is reusing lots of different elements from broken jewellery to create something new, these would look awesome kind of hanging down as a charm. So super happy to find those. And then in another charity shop, I stumbled across these. So these, it was quite unusual to find a lot that were the same colour. So usually when I find buckles, vintage buckles, they're usually mixed in with other stuff. So I've bought tins of buttons online, bags of buttons from charity shops, and then buckles are something that seem to be in there with that stuff, or old sewing stuff as well. Whereas these were all bagged up in lots, and there was this beautiful kind of maroon colour and then this lovely blue teal colour. And these are vintage plastic, but they've got kind of like a satiny look to them. And they're quite large as well. Now what I'm planning to do with these is turn them into necklaces. I have done that before with a mix of different belt buckles, but I managed to get a lot, all of the same colour. So I'll be able to do a blue one and a red one, and then whatever is left over from the bags, maybe do a mixed one as well. I thought they would look really, really nice, and they go well together, which is awesome. So I'll have to get my massive jump rings out and have a play around with those. I've also recently bought some other things that I'm going to upcycle. I'm very much a magpie when it comes to things vintage, and I bought some vintage dominoes with a little brass dot in the centre. They're probably celluloid ones. So I've got a black bottom and a white cream top, and I'd love to make necklaces and things out of those. So they're kind of put to one side. And then I bought some kind of like, they're like round discs. They look like cogs, and then they slot together so children can turn them into all kinds of different things. And I bought a big box of those for £1.50 from a charity shop, and I fancied upcycling those into bracelets and things as well. So I'll probably pop those in some shorts videos and kind of do a before and after and show you how I've pieced those together. So yeah, the creative juices are flowing, but one thing I have to be really careful with is I just want to make everything. So I end up with about 20 different projects on the go, but then nothing gets finished. So I pick something up and I start it and I put it down and yeah, go a little bit bonkers. So I've had to rein myself in a little bit because it gets a little bit overwhelming as well. I don't know if other creatives feel like that, but you've kind of got this inner urge to make things. And then once you've got things on the go, if you haven't got the energy to finish them, it can be quite overwhelming. When you see lots of unfinished projects, it can feel quite like pressure. And that's pressure that I'm putting on myself. So all I need to do is kind of tidy those things away, make some time to finish each project. And then in future, the plan is to make collections of jewellery. So maybe 3 or 4 collections a year, which then kind of focuses me in on designing a specific collection. So it could be that it's inspired by a particular theme, it could be a particular technique that I'd like to use, or a particular material that I'd like to work with. And if I hone in and create a collection, then I know that I'm only going to be making that collection and not lots of other odds and ends of stuff. So I'm hoping that will kind of focus my mind and my creativity. And it should make it easier for me to launch things on the website as well. I'll be able to upload and launch a whole collection in one go, which would be really awesome instead of just kind of adding things in dribs and drabs. The website's going really well. I haven't had a sale yet, which I wouldn't expect because it's only just kind of been crawled. The pages are being picked up and indexed. There are things I still need to do to make sure things are showing up. So I need to kind of do some keyword research and make sure that I'm optimizing all my pages. But I am getting visits, which is awesome. I popped a new blog up the other day about fast fashion. So if you do get a chance to read that, pop over to the website, that's live. I'm trying to do one blog per month. So my next one is going to be focusing on the joy of jewellery. So joy is one of the kind of reasons why I do what I do. And I'm going to do a blog about that and probably also do a video to go with that as well. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. So thank you very much for tuning in and kind of having a nosy at my collection and my bits and bobs. I love showing you the things that I've found. I kind of, you know, it's like you guys are like my best friend when it comes to sharing things with. I get to show you all of my finds. I get to share my enthusiasm and passion with you, and you kind of mirror that back as well, which is awesome. And that motivates me. It really gives me a boost. It gives me a boost in energy, and it kind of keeps me going as well, which is brilliant. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do. It's just a click of a button and then you'll get notifications of when new videos come out. I tend to post a long form video on a Sunday evening, and then I do shorts videos during the week. So if this is your cup of tea, please do subscribe and support the channel. And as always, I shall catch you on the next one.